Welcome here to Robinson Family Vineyards. Thank you, VS Wines and Michael here, my Tom Jinks and Susie Jinks, and we're going to go through the few wines that we have in front of us, which is our 2019 Great Lakes Cab, 2018 Robinson Family Vineyards Cabernet Sauvignon, and a 2018 Reserve Cabernet Sauvignon. And to start us off, Tom Jinks will tell us a little bit about it.
Well, thank you, Carrie. Carrie's our oldest daughter. We have 3 girls. This ranch, Susie's parents moved out here in 1967 and established this. Started planting grapes back when there was only a few wineries in the valley. And we've started a winery in 1998. We started with 200 cases. We're up to about 1,200 now. Michael has been nice enough to carry our wines now, and we're going to taste a couple of wines here.
Great.
We'll start with the Great Lakes, which is actually a wine label that was our daughter's label that used to be off our other ranch in Napa here. And we sold that ranch. Now we sourced a little fruit for this one, but it is an apple wine. This one's out of the Coombsville district. It's a beautiful little wine. It's very fruit forward, very luscious fruit, some little flavors of cranberry. Pomegranate, some big nice bin cherry, some peach, and then a little bit of cinnamon and clove spice in that finish there. We only do a few hundred or 100 in some cases of this one, depending on the year. It's a nice little wine.
Very well received in our market in New Jersey, New York. And is this 2019, right? The new
This
vintage?
is 2019.
Yeah, I'm glad
This is the
we can
19,
taste- yeah, we can taste.
2019,
Which
correct.
will be arrive in our inventory pretty soon.
Yes.
We are going to move on to a second wine that we do. We do quite a few different varietals here, mainly the Bordeaux varietals. And the next one here is our Cabernet Sauvignon. There's a little family icon down here at the bottom that we could talk about at some point in life. The Cabernet is our bigger varietal on the ranch here, the same as the bigger varietal in Napa Valley. The Cab, it's got some nice redwood forest greenery taste to start with, or smells, excuse me, the nose. In the finish of it, the flavors here are some Bing cherry, some black currant, which is a small little dried fruit, and some pomegranate in this one also. It's a lovely wine, a little notes of caramel and ripe fruit. This is the love. This is when my father-in-law started planting here in 1970, making home wines on the property. We lost Bud in 98, and Susie and I started the winery here and with our girls. The third wine, well, I'm going to taste a little of that right now.
Yep.
The Cabernet Sauvignon comes from our property here, and we're located right in the heart of Stag's Leap District, in case anybody
Yep.
wanted to know that. There are some wineries within the district. We are bordered on the west by Stag's Leap Winery, and then on the south by Stag's Leap Wine Cellars. So,
When I came here, Stelzner is here on here also?
yes, yes.
Yeah, Stelzner has property right in front of us. Joseph Phelps has property in front of us. and
Joseph
also-
Phelps, okay.
Yep, they have the larger piece in front of us here is Joseph Phelps. And then Stag's Leap Wine Cellars has the property right out the view, looking the furthest part out.
You have about 72 acres? Hectares?
We have 78 acres.
Acres, yes. And
Almost
about
79, but there's
seven-
only
6 or
7 and a
7,
half
yeah,
that are planted.
on the
It's all
vine.
on the hillside.
Yeah,
Which give us a very nice small fruit, very concentrated fruit, deep colors. Even our Merlot looks like a Cabernet because it's small berries.
You mentioned Merlot. I missed the Merlot last time. I promise you will most likely will bring it in the fall.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
a great Merlot. It
I love
really
Merlot,
is.
so yes, we will retaste Maybe you can send us some samples so we can start working on
Absolutely.
that.
Would be
Let's
delighted.
take the reserve. The reserve. What is the reserve?
The reserve
stands for,
is,
let's say?
there's always one block on the ranch here that is right when you come into the property. There's a little spot just on the other side of the little creek that is slightly different soil texture a little. And so that block always goes into the reserve, and also different barrels off of different blocks on the hillside after the 2 years that we taste them. We put that all on new oak. We do a good 30 to 50% of our cab on new oak, and then we pick out of those ones that we're gonna make the reserve.
I see.
So the
You also
cab we
only get
just had,
like 130 cases production.
correct,
138,
120,
very small
130,
production.
very small production.
Versus the cab is like 300, I think.
Correct.
Correct. Yeah, depending on the year, our rainfall, fall has a lot to
Right.
do on
Every year
our
probably
timing.
different.
Because we don't go out and buy other fruit. We just use
Everything's
this fruit.
estate. Yeah. Well, I saw it's all estate.
It's all estate.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then it's,
Except for the Great Lakes.
Yeah, which is Coombsville. Yeah.
Yes,
Right.
which is Coombsville. Everything else is grown on this property.
right.
So,
So then we'll take, throw a bunch of it on new oak, go through and try the wines. Christoph Anderson, our winemaker, we've already gone through and picked out barrels a couple of months ago that we thought were changing a little bit, so we threw them back on new oak also. That gives us a good varietal of barrels that we can then extract and to put into that reserve. And that reserve is all French oak.
Great. I want to mention Christoph. I met Christoph was 5 years, 6 years ago. He was the winemaker scribe, and at Gargiulo. And before COVID, I represented Verity Wine Partners, great company. And Christoph is winemaker, and he is the one that introduced me to Robinson
Right.
family. So big thanks, Christoph.
Yes,
Yes.
Christoph is a great winemaker.
Yeah.
We absolutely adore him.
Him and his
He's
wife,
done a
Jennifer.
great job with the wines, and we're thrilled with.
Besides
As
this,
we are
wines-
thrilled with you,
Thank you.
Michael. Thank you
I mean,
very much
I was
for
so-
everything you're doing for the brand.
your position is really absolutely fantastic. What other wines you made, like higher level besides these three? You had a Malbec, right?
We have a Malbec, we have a Cabernet Franc, we do a Petit Verdot, but one of our favorites that we do is called 2+3.
Mhm.
And that's a Bordeaux blend that encompasses all 5 of the Bordeaux varietals. It's a great wine, it's very velvety and very lush.
How much wine of that do you have?
I think we have about 80 or so cases.
80 to 100, depending
Yeah,
on
it just
the
depending
year.
upon the year.
Right.
Maybe I can
Everything
steal-
depends on the year.
Maybe I can steal 10 cases from you.
We
We
will,
can, we can
We
talk.
can-
we can talk.
We can talk,
We will
absolutely.
talk.
Thank you so much. From here, I'm gonna drive to San Francisco International Airport, and that will be the end of my
We'll
trip.
say just a couple of things about the
Oh,
reserve.
please, yes, sure.
It's got some little cedar, hints of cedar, violet, sage, and vanilla. And some of that vanilla also comes from the barrel. On the palate, on the flavors there is little boysenberry, blackberry jam, notes of sandalwood, and it's got a little honey finish to it. It's just a lovely wine.
This is my favorite.
But the one wonderful thing about the Stag Sleep District wines is their tannins are so very soft.
Soft, yeah, smooth, I was gonna
And-
say.
Yes,
Yeah.
and
So
this
round.
reserve
My
is.
goodness.
Yeah, but yet they're wines that will lay down for years and years. We've sent out to our wine club members wines that we've held back for 16 years.
A little
And
jam
they
in
just
there,
love
the
them.
little white pepper.
Yeah.
White.
That's why this part of this little area here, the valley, is only 3.5 miles long and a mile wide. Is a completely different
Small, yeah.
tour of any place else in the valley here. And the grapes out of this area here go for considerably more than Cabernet and all the other varietals in the valley here. Not that there's not some beautiful wines throughout the valley.
By all
They're
means,
all
yeah, sure.
beautiful.
The age terroir is different.
We're just different and very elegant tannins that allows you just to swallow very easily back and not get that little bit of a
Right,
bite there.
it is settled already, it's really absolutely delicious.
It's,
Yeah.
it's a delicious
What's
wine.
the elevation here?
The elevation right here at this point is 160 feet above sea level.
Yeah.
Where, 120 feet, and where our house sets up here is 160.
I see.
And the top of the
And the
vineyard,
top of the hill, yes.
yeah, the top of the vineyard is right at 160 foot above sea level.
Yeah. Wow.
So it's,
Great experience.
yeah. We have the Stags Leap Palisades on the hillside here where the name came from. Where some deer hunters were chasing a deer, it jumped a large gorge, it didn't make it, so certain full moons, they can see the stag jumping and the ghost of the stag. And there's all volcanic ash here and millions of years of decomposing and come down off the hillside. Our soils are not very deep. We hit a very solid volcanic ash down there. So it gives us like potted plants, very, plants that are very stressed. So we don't get a lot per acre, but we get a very high quality, very small berry.
And so how much will be the yield, let's say for
We're 2.5
tons per?
tons per acre on the bottom to a ton and a half on the top. So our neighbors.
How much is that yield on the reserve?
How much?
Yield, what's the
Yield depends on what part of the place it comes off. It averages about 2 tons to the acre.
Oh, you can tell, I mean, the juice is so concentrated,
and
right? But
so
it's,
the higher we get up the hill, some of those vines up there only have 4 or 5 clusters. They're very tiny.
yeah, awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, really
Well,
awesome.
we appreciate you
Thank you.
Yes.
and what you do for us.
Thank you.
And we will continue to grow. Again, we just started. This is the second year of doing
Right.
business together. I would like to thank Diaz for supporting my activities on creating this Napa and Sonoma portfolio, and we'll keep on growing.
Sounds
We're
like a good
delighted to have
partnership.
you here.
Thank you. Yes,
So,
thank you so much.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Cheers.